The Local Show, sponsored by Victory in Motion, home of knee repair, not knee replacement, on NewsRadio 570 WSYR, on 106.9 FM, and live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. The Local Show features in-depth conversation with business owners, employees, and influential business leaders throughout Central New York, exploring their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in our growing community. The Local Show is produced locally by Zoe Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
All right, we're back into The Local Show right here on 570 WSYR, 106.9 FM. Steve, you all set to have a gripping interview?
That's me, gripping.
That's it.
I'm ready for spring, Tom. That's what I'm ready for. And it's feeling it. It's coming. I am worn out from the winter. It just seemed longer than ever. But
it does, yeah. Well, look, Josh Lange is with us right now. He's the pastor at Redeemer Church here in Syracuse. We're going to have a nice conversation with him. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me back, guys.
Good. Well, it's good to have you back. Joan Osborne, you know who she is, right? From 1995, singer?
Give me a song title.
She said, "What if God was one of us?"
Yeah.
What if he was? What if God was one of us? Would he find his way back home? I don't know.
What a cultural marker there.
Yeah,
I mean, let's go back to the days of VH1. And
MTV. Music.
Yeah. And it's interesting in art. There's always those questions that are asked because people are constantly wrestling with, those bigger questions in life. What if God was one of us? And the great thing about Christianity is that we have God who created everything, who humbled himself and took humanity into himself and became like one of us, lived like one of us, walked the same earth that you and I are walking, breathed the same air that we breathe. And the amazing thing about it is this God who created all things and could have just started over, decided to redeem us. And the way he redeemed us was by stepping into the mess and experiencing the full of it. And yet he did it in such a way that he, when Jesus came down, he was without sin and he was able to pay the price for the sin and the brokenness that came into this world, because this world's a really broken place.
You think?
No way.
Yeah, and
I hadn't noticed.
And I think the thing is we get to the end of ourselves and we ask those questions. What if God? And what we see in Christianity is God says, I came and lived among you and dwelt among you, and I made a way, not just so I would understand what you're going through, but I would be able to rescue you from sin and death. I'd be able to redeem this creation. And when the story's all done and said, we're not even going to be able to imagine what it is that God has planned and prepared.
Yeah. Is Christianity still the largest of the practiced religions?
In terms of numbers, I want to say yes. Islam's probably pretty close behind, in terms of number, but I don't have like data right behind me. But, when you look at things like, Catholics and Protestants and just the expansive, as much as people might say, the church is declining or shrinking or anything like that, it's not accurate, with that. And especially if you look at certain parts of Protestant Christianity, for example, like being those like within Pentecostal, charismatic, Assemblies of God, type of movements, you're actually seeing growth.
Tell me about my note. I want to ask you about the youth, because I have heard that there's a lot of things going on with the youth that people may not know about, but a lot of youth are coming to a relationship with Christ.
Yeah, I think even in let's look at it in a micro way. At what we're just seeing here in upstate New York. There is this curiosity about people, from young people, about faith, something that is transcendent, something that is real, something that has the ability to change their lives. And so even in a little school district where like my kids go, you're seeing all these questions asked, and some people, they could be critical or negative, but my son wears this hat on his head that says, "Don't trust celebrities, trust Jesus."
I like that.
That's good advice.
That's great advice.
That's not taboo.
Yeah.
In the school,
good,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
In the sense that, people aren't like, oh, it's Christian. Kids are actually curious about coming to, not only curious about faith, but they're taking a step by saying, I'm going to go check out church.
Right. And Redeemer had a big youth conference here in the last month that was pretty well attended, yeah?
Yeah, we have these regular nights where we just say, hey, kids, come out. We're going to have food. We're going to have some fun, but you're also going to hear about something that'll transform your life. And I think at just one of the locations, we had 1,200 kids come out just for a singular night because they want, they're hungry for something that can transform their life.
Something that was never taught to me, and I went to Catholic high school, Catholic elementary school, and so did my wife. And sure, they would talk about the Catholic faith, Christianity, and but never about other faiths too much. Like to stick a toe in the water and explain just, on the outskirts, obviously the Protestant Revolution, all that type of stuff, you learn about that. But, maybe it's that people don't really understand the difference between, Islam and Christianity and what an Islamist is versus, something else, just a person who believes in the Quran.
You got a minute and a half. Go for it, Josh.
I don't know that we need to unpack it. It's just worth the conversation. That I think that's why people get angry and they don't understand the war and they don't understand what's going on because they don't really understand what other faiths believe in.
Well, I think the place you have to start is with what you actually believe, because I think in our modern era, and when I say modern, I'm talking about cable news era.
Yeah, right.
People like these, like a news segment would be in 15 minutes. So we're going to have story minute for one, expert evaluation for next minute.
Yes.
And you have these I'll call them little suitcases of big. That say, okay, this is what you believe about this. Here's this suitcase, what you believe about this. And they never open that suitcase to actually really flesh out what it is. And so they live by talking points.
Right.
And so I think for people to better engage with the world around them, you have to be able to look at something and say, okay, hey, here's one area that I can affirm. Here's another area that I'm going to question. And actually, here's where an area where I'm going to deconstruct it and then reconstruct it within the Christian worldview to explain in such a way what you need to hear that can transform your life. And I think when people start, and I don't mean this offensive, but in an offensive way, but America has a lot of cultural Christianity.
Yeah.
And the problem is when people aren't really following Jesus and practicing what he would believe and navigating the world the way that he would call us to, is you get into messes.
And it makes Jesus look bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. People are like, oh, that guy, you see, he's a Christian. I go, well, he's not Jesus. And someone said to me once, boy, I know a lot of annoying Christians. I'm like, I know way more annoying Christians than you, but that shouldn't stand in your relationship with Christ.
That's
Josh Lange, pastor of Redeemer Church. Redeemer Church, Syracuse, located across from Nottingham High School.
That's right.
10 o'clock on Sundays.
Yep.
And Redeemer Church. Thanks, Josh.
Hey, thank you guys.